Super Mario 3D World was a game that came out so many years ago. It got revamped back in 2021, and I remember when this game initially came out. I think I bought my first Nintendo Wii U around 2018, and since then, if you watched my main channel videos, you know I talk a lot about gaming consoles and just technology in general, but Super Mario 3D World was the first game I played on my Wii U, and I actually enjoyed it. It was a really fun game, but I never finished it. Last year, I ended up finishing this game. It was about last year, I finished it, but I started it even the year before that. And the thing about Super Mario 3D World is that this is one of those games that is still a very, very good game. If you're planning on buying this game anytime throughout the remainder of this year, there is still a huge community of people who play this game. There's still online multiplayer, but even beyond that, just the game itself is actually a very, very fun game. Now, this game came out in 2013. It was revamped in 2021, and it did get ported over to the Switch, and it did get that Bowser's Fury game as well. I finished that as well. And the Switch version was the one that I did end up finishing. That one was a bit faster in terms of the character moving. That one also brought online multiplayer, and they also used less like touchscreen and microphone stuff. I almost always exclusively played it in docked mode, so I never even played it really portably. And I had a really fun and good time with it. Now, this game, the synopsis of this whole entire game, is you're basically Mario, Luigi, Toad, or Princess Peach. You can play as any four of those characters. And what was interesting about this game is you're not really going through and like trying to find Princess Peach and trying to rescue her in this game. There's a couple Mario games that aren't really like that, and this is one of them. Instead, you're basically going through and you're finding and discovering the Sprixie Kingdom, and you're trying to go back and rescue the Sprixie princesses, I guess. Now, you will know by the basis of this video, I am not a gamer at all, but I love Nintendo and I love Nintendo games like crazy. And when I played this game, I actually thought it was a really, really fun game. Now, I will say, there's a couple things that I did love about this game. Now, I've always been a fan of new Super Mario Bros. Even the original Super Mario Brothers, those like, the side-scroller games, I loved those so much. I've played every single 3D main, title Mario game, and I really enjoyed those too. Super Mario 64, the Nintendo DS version, Super Mario Galaxy 1, 2, Super Mario Sunshine, basically every single one, Odyssey, every single one you can probably name, I played it and finished it. And this one was one of the ones that stands out by itself, because it's not really like an open world. And one of the problems that I kind of did experience when I did play this game that you probably know of is kind of the camera. Right, I didn't really like the fact that we couldn't really move the camera around where we wanted to. Now, it has to be fixated because that's how the levels are designed, but when they packaged this game against Bowser's Fury, I really liked the way Bowser's Fury played, being a complete open world, but also having access to change the camera around, just like how we could on Super Mario Sunshine, most levels in Galaxy, Super Mario 64. So it's very weird that they packed this open world game on the Switch version with this like fixed camera model. But even then, that's just me being nitpicky. I still love the art style of this game, and the graphics and the way it looks still play very, very well. Now, the way the Switch version works in terms of like, glitches and issues and things like that, I haven't really had too many issues when I'm playing it on my hardware, but I have seen a lot of complaints if you're planning on buying or using a pre-existing Nintendo Switch and playing, Super Mario 3D World, you will probably have a great time. But do keep in mind, if your Switch is aging and if you have like a bunch of dust, stuck inside of that particular, console, it can kind of hinder maybe the experience you might be getting from this game, just because it does kind of take some, quite a bit of resources to play it, but it's not anything super crazy. Now, some of the things that I love about Super Mario 3D World is that you have a lot of characters to choose from. So you can kind of, choose different ones. They all bring their own thing. Luigi has its like jumping, kind of hover jumping a little bit. Peach has its like stopping up in the when you're jumping. That's pretty cool. And Toad is a very fast character too. There are a ton of cool power-ups within this game. And one thing for me, I mess up in my games whenever I play them so much. So I love the fact that if you're, kind of like not that great at gaming, you will, if you ever mess up a lot, you do get the Super Feather, which allows you to go and kind of just, finish the games a little bit easier, which is something that I love. And another really cool thing I like about this particular game is that it's very fast to kind of progress through the game. Just like with a lot of Switch games, you can pick up this game and play it for a couple of minutes and, get a really good time with it. Or you can play it for hours and hours on end and still have a really good time with it too. So this is something that's really awesome about this game, is that it's kind of quick paced. Now, one other thing that I really like about this game is that if you get the Switch version, it is packed with Bowser's Fury, which is a whole other game that's really fun too, but I'll save that for a different video. Now, in terms of the replayability, right? I noticed that when I finished this game, there are still a lot of other things to do. It really is kind of like New Super Mario Bros., the New Super Mario Bros., like that whole entire mainline title. It's kind of like that one, even like Luigi U. With this one, you're getting 117 total levels, 8 main worlds, and 4 optional worlds on top of that. So there is still a lot of game to be had here, and if you've never played this game, this is a really fun game. I had a really good time with it. But the thing with this game though, is that when you're kind of done with it, I don't really know, there's still a lot to play here. There's still a lot of replayability. But one thing that I always kind of like, that I always compare to, is that with a game like Super Mario, Odyssey, that game, there's a lot of customizing to do. Even when you're done with the game, you can go through and go back and collect more coins, and you can go and upgrade your, Mario, you can change its outfit, so many other things like that. And I feel like games like that, games like even most of the new Super Mario Bros., those tend to have more speedrunning community behind them and just kind of things like that. Whereas with Super Mario 3D World, when it first came out, a lot of people weren't that big of a fan of it, but they ended up kind of growing into it. So I think Super Mario 3D World is still a very fun game to play, whether you're buying it for your Wii U or you're playing it on the Nintendo Switch. But I will say, and even in the used market, these things, you can buy them in the brand new market or the used market. It just depends on where you want to go. But I would probably tell you, if you want a game that might be a little bit of a longer lasting game in terms of gameplay, in terms of even just content inside of it, you might want to go ahead and buy Super Mario Odyssey. That game is still very fun. You can buy that game all over the place too. And that one might be the one I'd recommend probably more people to buy and play if you've never played that before. But Super Mario 3D World is a very, very fun game. But honestly, I liked Bowser's Fury a lot too. Bowser's Fury was a really, really fun game. I cannot wait to talk about that particular game, but definitely Super Mario 3D World, very fun. You can have it, you can play it for as long as you want to. And I did like how it was multi-platformed. You can get it on the Switch and you can get it on the Nintendo Wii U if you also had it. So that was also something that was very, very cool going on for this particular console as well. So in my personal opinion, that's kind of how I see it. But like I said, if you're in the market and you've never played really a majority of Switch 3D World games, if you're on a tight budget, if it's between these two, if it's between Super Mario 3D World or Super Mario Odyssey, I think I'd probably recommend you to go ahead and get into Super Mario Odyssey, because that seems more like a full game to me and a full game experience. And I feel like the developers put more into that game than Super Mario 3D World, in my personal opinion. And also Super Mario Odyssey is pretty much the successor to the 3D World game as well. So that's kind of how I see this game holding up in 2025. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.